Welcome back to another episode of Spiritwhisper's podcast. I'm your host, Spiritwhisper, and today I'm stepping out from behind the mic to share a personal experience with you. Recently, I had the opportunity to temporarily fill the shoes of our regional manager, overseeing not just one, but 3 warehouses. It was a whirlwind of a time, filled with challenges, growth, and valuable lessons. In this episode, I'll be sharing the highs and lows of taking on a bigger role, offering insights on leadership and what it means to step up to the plate. So grab your headphones, settle in, and get ready for a candid conversation about stepping outside your comfort zone. Let's get started. Stepping up, my 2 weeks as acting manager, and what I learned. Hey everyone, if you've been around the warehouse scene for a while, you know it's not always smooth sailing. We have our good days, we have our tough days, and sometimes we have days where we're thrown a curveball we didn't quite see coming. Well, I had one of those curveball days. Our regional manager, the guy who oversees all 3 of our warehouses in the area, decided to take a well-deserved 2-week vacation. And guess who got tapped to fill his shoes? Yours truly. Now, I've been a leader in my warehouse for a few years, but stepping up to manage not just 1, but 3 locations, that was a whole new ballgame. It was exciting, nerve-wracking, and honestly, a bit overwhelming at times. But I'm not one to shy away from a challenge, so I rolled up my sleeves and dove in headfirst. Looking back on those 2 weeks, I learned a ton. There were definitely some major pros to the experience, but there were also some cons that I think are important to acknowledge. So, if you're ever in a position where you're temporarily stepping into someone else's role, or if you're just curious about what it's like to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, here's my honest take on the whole thing. The pros. 1. A bird's eye view. One of the biggest benefits of stepping into a higher level role is that you get a much broader perspective on how the entire operation works. When you're focused on your own warehouse, it's easy to get tunnel vision. But when you're responsible for multiple locations, you start to see the bigger picture. You see how decisions made in one warehouse can impact the others. You see how different teams rely on each other to keep things running smoothly. And you see how important communication and collaboration are for overall success. 2. Skill development on fast forward. Let's be real, there's no better way to learn than by doing. And when you're thrown into a new role with new responsibilities, you're forced to learn fast. I had to quickly get up to speed on things like inter-warehouse logistics, budgeting across multiple locations, and managing a larger team of supervisors. It was a steep learning curve, but I came out of it with a whole new set of skills that I wouldn't have developed otherwise. 3. Building relationships and trust. As the acting regional manager, I had the opportunity to interact with people from all 3 warehouses, from warehouse workers to supervisors to office staff. I got to know them on a more personal level, understand their challenges, and build trust with them. These relationships are invaluable, and they'll continue to benefit me even after I've returned to my regular role. 4. Increased visibility and recognition. Stepping up to a higher level role puts you in the spotlight. Your work is more visible to upper management, and you have the chance to showcase your abilities and potential. If you do a good job, it can open doors for future opportunities and career advancement. The con. 1. The pressure cooker. Let's not sugarcoat it. Taking on a bigger role comes with bigger responsibilities and bigger expectations. The pressure to perform is intense, and there's very little room for error. Every decision you make has a wider impact, and you're constantly aware that the stakes are higher. 2. Juggling act. When you're temporarily filling in for someone, you're essentially doing 2 jobs at once. You still have your regular responsibilities to take care of, but now you also have a whole new set of tasks and duties to manage. It can be a real juggling act, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed and stretched thin. 3. Stepping on toes. When you step into a leadership role, especially one that's not your own, there's always the risk of stepping on someone's toes. You might have to make decisions that not everyone agrees with, or you might have to implement changes that ruffle some feathers. It's important to be mindful of this and try to navigate these situations with tact and diplomacy. 4. The temporary nature of it all. No matter how well you do in the temporary role, there's always that nagging reminder that it's not permanent. It can be tough to invest fully in the role and make long-term plans when you know you'll be handing the reins back over soon. So, was it worth it? Absolutely. Despite the challenges and the pressure, I wouldn't trade those 2 weeks for anything. It was an incredible learning experience, and it gave me a whole new appreciation for what our regional manager does on a daily basis. It also gave me a chance to grow both personally and professionally. And I'm confident that the skills and relationships I developed will continue to benefit me in the long run. If you ever get the chance to step outside your comfort zone and take on a new challenge, even if it's only temporary, I encourage you to go for it. You might be surprised at what you're capable of